episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast is brought to you by Soul Chic Cosmetics. Soul Chic Cosmetics is a Black-owned beauty brand for women with a purpose. They offer a beautiful variety of vegan lip wear such as lipstick, lip gloss, and more. Soul Chic Cosmetics is committed to serving their community, so with every purchase, 10% goes to a charity that empowers the Black community. Beauty that empowers you to live on purpose. Head on over to soulchiccosmetics.com to grab some of their vegan lip wear and use code FIB to get 20% off of your first order. They have lots of fun and vibrant colors if you like a bold lip like me, or you can choose from an array of nudes that they have as well. Follow Soul Chic Cosmetics on Instagram and tag Friends in Beauty so I can see what goodies you got. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the episode.
I think as an artist, it's really important to have like a connection group. Do you know what I mean? I think in any freelance or solo career, like even as like a skincare founder, like I have other friends who have small brands and small businesses, and we're constantly like helping each other because it's like there are so many things that you're gonna fall flat on your face trying to figure out. But like, why have both of us suffer? Like they're gonna suffer on something else and I'm gonna suffer on something, so why not exchange that knowledge?
Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, a safe space for ambitious beauty industry creatives to have real talk, get real answers, and practical tools to grow their businesses. My name is Omayma Ramzy, and I'm a makeup artist, beauty educator, and the creator of Friends in Beauty. I created Friends in Beauty to support like-minded creatives just like you on their quest to connect, network, and build genuine relationships within the beauty community. Join me every week as me and my special guests reveal the keys to success and longevity in the beauty industry, and most importantly, have fun while doing it. You ready? Hey, what's up? It's your best friend in beauty, Omayma Ramzy. Welcome back to another episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast. I am so happy to have you here, and I hope you're listening to this episode in high spirits and in good health. If you are a friend in beauty, I welcome you to join the Friends in Beauty Facebook community. If you're looking for a community of like-minded, ambitious friends in beauty to virtually connect with, network, and share resources, then click the link down below in the show description to join us in the Facebook community, and I'll be there to welcome you with open arms. Also, let's get social. Follow Friends in Beauty on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty. Additionally, the Friends in Beauty podcast is available on several platforms. We're on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google, YouTube, you name it, we are there. And whatever platform you are listening from right now, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning into the Friends in Beauty podcast. I appreciate it more than you know. And I would love it even further if you took the time to leave a 5-star rating, a review, a like, a comment, a share, a subscribe, or something to let me know how you feel about the Friends in Beauty podcast. Additionally, Friends in Beauty is now on Patreon. So for as little as $3 a month, you can support the Friends in Beauty podcast. And there are also several tiers available that unlock Patreon exclusive content just for you, like behind the scene content of the Friends in Beauty podcast, bonus interview clips, a monthly Ask Me Anything, discounts, and so much more. So if that's something that you're interested in, I'll leave the link down below in the show description for that as well. Also, if you'd like to stay connected even further, join the Friends in Beauty mailing list tribe. They are the first to know about all things Friends in Beauty, and I send out different resources and tips throughout the week. So if that's something that you're interested in, join us over there. And last but not least, listen up. The most important thing is to share the Friends in Beauty podcast with your other friends in beauty, your family, your friends, anybody that you think could benefit from the information that is being shared. Share away to help me grow the Friends in Beauty community. On this episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast, I welcome Omayma Ramzy to the Friends in Beauty guest chair. Omayma is a British award-winning makeup artist, currently living in Los Angeles, known for her ability to perfect skin while using color, texture, and shape to express her artistry. Her background in fine art ultimately sparked her interest in makeup, which was no surprise coming from a family of performers and artists. She also spent much of her formative youth in Egypt and Morocco, where she also learned about skin and beauty from the nomadic Bedouins of the Sahara Desert. Today, she shares those best-kept secrets with her clients as well as the masses through her skincare brand. Their Bedouin Elixir Facial Oil is intentionally formulated without chemicals and instead gives a nod to her North African heritage with the addition of Neem, Moroccan Blue Tansy, Jojoba, and Argan oils. Celebrities love it too. Oh my goodness, I absolutely loved chatting with Omayma. Just as I thought before I met her, she was a total vibe. In this interview, she shares her relationship with beauty growing up with Moroccan and Egyptian heritage, how being raised by a pack of artists ultimately sparked her creativity and launch of Omayma Skin, the formulation of Omayma Skin and what went into developing the brand, how she was able to do a life drawing in Princess Diana's apartment, her extensive skincare routine that put my simple routine to shame, amazing advice for artists who feel like giving up, and so much more. I can't wait for you to hear this conversation. If you want to see a behind the scenes of the day I recorded this interview with Omayma, make sure you check it out on my Day in the Life vlog on YouTube. But let's go ahead and jump into this chat with Omayma. And if you prefer to watch our beautiful faces, then tune in on YouTube. Enjoy. Welcome to the Friends of Beauty podcast, Omayma.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. Another makeup artist who just does like delicious, yummy skin. Like I looked at your website and I'm obsessed with you now. Like, I hope that's okay.
Thank you so much.
I'm so obsessed with your artistry, but we're going to talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
We're going to get into that. I would love to start off with some icebreakers just to get us warmed up. And so the Friends of Beauty audience can get to know you outside of beauty a little bit.
Love it.
So first one, just give us 3 random facts about you.
Oh, 3 random facts. Okay, so I'm an Egyptian Brit living in LA.
Okay.
I guess it's kind of random. Does that count?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Another random fact. Oh, this is fun. Another random fact. I spent, even though I'm Egyptian, I spent a lot of time in Morocco where my family's a vegetable farmer, and so like in some ways, you know, I find it like more natural because I know my way around more. I've spent more time. I have more friends there, more family there. So it's a funny thing. And then what's another random fact? I am like the ultimate minimalist. Like this, if for you YouTube watching people, is like a lot of makeup for me.
Okay.
That I did on myself. And I'm a makeup artist, you know, first and foremost. And I'm the number one person. And I think that people think that's kind of funny when I go to work with just like brows and mascara and like a lot of skincare. And,
right.
And I like never, I just like sometimes like with my boyfriend, sometimes I'll like be like, okay, Omayma, you have to do your hair. But I'm just like, why? I love just like rolling out of the shower. And even though it's like, but still.
I love that. I totally get it because like this is for you, like this is for filming, this is for content creation. But people that know me know that 99.9% of the time I do not have on makeup at all. And I kind of like it that way because then when you do get dressed up, then it's like a thing. Like people are like, oh my God,
it's like a moment.
Yeah.
It's so true, right? It's so true. But like it's funny because like sometimes I think like, am I not obsessed enough with makeup? Like, do I not love makeup? Because it's like, you know, we spend all day getting other people like ready.
Right.
And so it's this funny thing, but I am obsessed with makeup. I am. But it's funny because I think as makeup artists, we like our vision changes. And so like it becomes like about like, what do we see in others rather than ourselves? And sometimes I can forget to be like, wait, I can have a moment too.
And because of that reason, like this is gonna be a long icebreaker, but because of that reason, when I do headshots most of the time, if I can, I'll get somebody else to do my makeup because I think they're able to see me differently. And I would play it like safe on myself, and it would look like so basic. Like it's not basic, but they have a different vision for their canvas.
I was thinking, I have so many of my friends are getting married this right now, and so, or this year, or this wedding season, and so like it's like overall there's like 7 or 8 weddings, it feels so many, like all of the weddings of the last 2 years have just been like jammed into this one thing. And of course all your best friends, they're gonna ask you, can you do my makeup? And I'm like, hey. But then now I'm like, shit, I've really got to go. Because they're like all over the world, but it's this funny thing, because I was thinking about that and I was like, it's so special to be able to do my friend's makeup for their wedding, and to be able to do that. And then I was like, will I have someone else do my makeup? Like I'll definitely have a hair person, because as I said before, like I roll out of the shower. But like for my makeup for my wedding, like will I haven't thought about that. Probably I will.
Probably will, because you will want to be pampered and stuff too. I love that. When's the last time you've been to Egypt?
Last time was in my late teens, and I'm like 31 now.
Okay. What do people always tell you that you're good at, aside from skin, of course, aside from what you do professionally?
Well, things that I'm good at, I guess, skin, and then like there they are. I also paint. You can kind of catch a glimpse of my paintings in the around there. And then like I went to painting school before I did makeup. And so people tell me that my paintings are good. I'm like, thank you. And then I love and then people tell me that within makeup I'm really good with like color and fun pops, and keeping it like really fresh and playful, but still like a moment that's not like, I really like to make makeup not traditional, like go somewhere editorial, but not like, I don't know, I just love like playing with color and creating little like microcosms of a world, like in like a photograph. I think it's really a fun collaborative experience for everyone,
Yeah, I can totally see that in your work for sure. So I have these pod decks that have these random questions in it. This is a would you rather, and this is a what the heck. Which one would you want?
Oh, would you rather, what the heck? Can we do 50-50?
Ooh, 50-50. Go for both. First. Okay, let's see. I'm picking random cards. That's so cool. Okay. First one, would you rather have a road trip with Donald Trump or O.J. Simpson?
Oh God, O.J. Simpson, I would say. Yeah, I think
that's interesting. Oh my gosh. I've been before. Yeah, it might be a little bit more fun than Trump.
Yeah, I think so. I think, would have some very good conversations by the end of that drive.
Did you do it?
No, we got honesty hour.
This one, the what the heck?
Yeah.
If your office had show and tell for adults, what thing would you be proud to display?
Wait, say that beginning again. If you're off your head?
Your office. So
your office had.
If your office had show and tell for adults, what item would you be proud to display?
My skincare brand, Omayma Skin, which is usually what happens on set. Like I'll be in the trailer, and then it's a funny thing, because like I'll be doing someone's makeup, and like, I kid you not, 9 out of 10 times I'll like put the facial Bedouin Elixir Facial Oil on them, and they're like, and I'm very like, I'm at work as well, so it's not like my show. And so then I put it on, and like 9 out of 10 are like, wow, that smells so good. What is that? And I'm like, oh, it's my brand. And I get very proud very fast.
I love that. This is a question I love asking everyone lately, but when is the last time that you did something for the first time?
Last time I did something, I was going to say I went kayaking, but it wasn't the first time. No, oh my God, this is such a hard question.
Any new
Last
experiences?
time, something for the first time. Wow. Okay, I'm breaking my head here.
Yeah, see, it's a good one, right?
This is good.
Think of something, let me know.
Yeah, okay.
Later. I would
Yeah.
love to know.
Yeah.
Yes, next one. How many languages do you speak fluently?
Oh, one, super fluently. French, half fluently. Or at least I used to fluently. And my siblings make fun of me because they're like, no, you didn't. I'm like, yeah, I did. And then Arabic, like here and there.
Yeah.
Here and there, very little, but
Okay. And the last one, if you weren't a makeup artist and the founder of Omayma Skin, of course, what else could you see yourself doing?
I would probably be like, maybe I would be a painter because I really, now I'm like, oh, painting is so therapeutic and like really cool. And then the other thing I love is jewelry. So I kind of feel like I would maybe design jewelry or like accessories or something like that. Like when when I was a little girl, the first thing I wanted to be was like a fashion designer. And I'm so glad I didn't end up doing that because it's just so much. I see my friends that are designers and I'm like, wow, your life is a lot. And there's like constant, I don't know. And I really love the idea. And I have some friends that have amazing jewelry brands like this. So many of these things that I'm wearing. And I just love jewelry, and not necessarily like super expensive, but I really love that jewelry, like I'm gonna go on about jewelry forever. I really love that it like lasts, it can last forever, and it can be a hand-me-down and this kind of a thing. And the trends are less like rapid, if you know what I mean. Like things when you buy like jewelry, you kind of think was something that you can wear like all year round rather than just like for one season, which I think is really cool from like an environmental element. And I think, so maybe one day I'll start a jewelry brand. I think I'm a bit more passionate about this than I realized.
Yeah. I love that. That's so funny. Thank you so much, Fish. This was a cool icebreaker session. Like, I love it. I would love to know, what was your relationship with beauty growing up?
Oh, so that's a really great question. I used to love all the skincare. I used to like hoard them as a kid. Like I would hoard them as a little girl, and I would have like in the bathroom, it would be like, I want to have as many shampoos and face products and body products and the like mists. And like I remember when I was in school, I used to do like bright eyeliner, and at my school was really strict about no makeup, but like somehow I got away with it. And I used to do like really bright, and then I'd do like chunky mascara, and so like I really loved it. And I remember the first time, because my mom lived not in England, she lived in France. And she took me, and so I was like with my mom. And in England we don't have Sephora, it's like not a thing. And
really?
Yeah, I know, weird, right? We have other shops but not Sephora. And so then I remember like the first time she took me to Sephora, because it's actually a French company, and I think it is, or Sephora, I think it started in France. And I remember the first time she took me, and I was like so overwhelmed in like every inch of my being, like I was like, I need it all. She was like, all right. But so like always, and I just remember as a little girl, my mom was an actress with in plays and with the Royal Shakespeare Company, which was like a really prestigious like theatrical acting group. And so always I would watch her like preparing for roles and getting ready, and like I just remember like her, like she would always have this like kind of dark red lipstick was like her thing. And like I was always like, that's like mom's color, it's so savage, you know, it's so severe. But like now I'm like, I love it. And and I just remember those things. And she had quite a lot of makeup, and like and my mom, ever since I was little, has been like she's like a health freak, right? Like freak. She's also like she's type 1 diabetic. And so like, I was thinking about this. I was like, I should make a TikTok about like things that didn't make sense when I was a kid, but now I'm like, I should have taken note. Like she's type 1 diabetic, which means that like ultimately, like even with insulin, her blood doesn't quite do what ours does without with it. And but she takes the best care of her body, out like even better than like your non-diabetic health freak. Like my mom is like the best type of health freak like ever. Like she like nails it, you know. and so like when I was little, she's always like, one of the things is like having dry skin if you're diabetic. And so like every single day, head to toe, she slathers herself in lotion. And it wasn't until I was like 28 that I started wearing body lotion. And I was like, oh, putting it on, you know. And I'm like, that's one of those things that like I should have realized younger. And like she's been like religious about all of her supplements like every single day without fail. And my mom's like in 50s, I don't know, 6 or 7, and she looks like 40 something. It's not
right.
like she's like, yeah, she looks incredible, and like exercise and all these things. I don't know how we got onto that, but anyway, so like my relationship with those like pampering and self-care, and I think that those things are really like they go hand in hand, you know. With beauty and self-care. Like my mom has been like a major, like without even understanding, like
without even realizing it.
Without. And now like I went to her when I was last at her house, like like her counter is like a beautiful mirror, and it's just got like makeup everywhere. And I was like, I see where I get it from.
It's right. I'm always trying to figure out where I get it from, because my mom is like the opposite. Not that she didn't take care of herself, but she's not into makeup or like anything like that. So I've always been wondering like, where did I come from? Like is, but we are very like all of us are very creative and have some kind of artistic ability or something like that. So
that's so cool. Yeah, I was raised by a pack of artists. Like my parents were divorced, and so my mom was an actress, and her husband is my stepdad. He's a writer and a sculptor, and my dad was a musician, and my stepmom was a belly dancer, and my dad did Egyptian music, and he was really successful as an Egyptian musician.
Wow.
And so they had like a touring also like dance school that Serena ran with my dad, and music school like teaching darbuka and tabla, like Egyptian drums, and we would go around the world when I was little doing this, and it was so cool, right? You're like, oh my god,
that is very cool.
Yeah, but I remember when I was like, I don't know, 12, and my mom just said to me, she was like, Omayma, you don't want an office job, okay? It'll be soul destroying. And I was like, okay. I just think like, imagine if I'd come home and said like, I want to be a lawyer or an accountant, or something like that. They would have
the opposite. It's usually the opposite. People don't want you to be creative. They want you to get an office job, and your mom is like, no, I think you need to go this creative route, like the family business. Okay.
Yeah, totally.
So when did you decide that you wanted to do makeup professionally?
Oh, it was a very precise moment. I was in university. So when I went in England, you can graduate from when you're 16. And I took a couple years after being 16 to go like kind of travel and study some short things abroad and whatever. And kind of do charity work and volunteering. And it's kind of like a gap year program. And so I did that, and then I came back and I was like, well, I don't. And by this point I was like around 20, and I skipped, like in England you do this like we call it A levels, but 16 to 18. So I just kind of skipped that. And so I was like, well, the only thing I can really do is go to art school. So I guess I'll do that. Like, so I went to art school, and then I was studying painting, and I loved it. And I did so many amazing things in that experience. Like I studied with the Prince's Drawing Trust, which is like a really dope foundation in London that's like for everyone in London, and you can like build your modules. And so like you can take many courses of life, but it's all drawing, it's all life drawing. And I got to do life drawing in Princess Diana's apartment. Isn't that insane? And then after that, it got removed from the program. So I was like one of the last students who got to do life drawing in her apartment. Like when you watch like the documentaries and stuff, like that room.
That's amazing.
And it's like artists from all levels, ages, all backgrounds, everyone. And it's this incredible program that it's called the Prince's Drawing Trust. And even if I was living in London, I would still be going, just because I think it's so important to do life drawing in any art form. It's just really all about observation and what you see, and it's really good. Anyway, so I was doing that, and then I was on my fine art degree, and it just kind of like smacked me in the face that I was like, I'm terrified of being a painter. Like I was like, that sounds so scary to me. Like I was so young. I was like, 23 and like, or 22. And like, I was just so aware of the fact that I didn't really feel like I had something within me to say yet as an artist.
Okay.
And I felt like it was a very lonely path. And I, was this idea of like my whole working life being in a room alone, a studio, maybe with one or two other artists that you share a space with, but ultimately like you and canvas, like, and maybe subject, but like ultimately I was like, I felt like a deer in headlights. Like I was like, oh my goodness, like I don't know what I'm gonna do. And so then I somehow stumbled on makeup. My sister was doing a program, an internship with Time Out magazine, which is like, it's in England. I don't know if it's in America.
You don't have Time Out.
It's like things to do, places to go, this kind of a thing. And so she was doing an internship there, and she had to do like a piece on the top 10 makeup one-day courses, classes you can do in London as like a little like one-day fun learn how to do makeup course, And she took me to two of them. One was with, I think her name's Jemima Kidd. I think it was Jemima Kidd. I might have her name wrong. And she took me to one with her, and like it was like a little one-on-one masterclass. And then she took me to Ilamasca, had their school of makeup on Carnaby Street, and that was like my first immersive kind of experience, where she took me there. And then I got addicted, and I was like, oh my god, I need another one. I need to do all the courses. And then I did like I did maybe like 3 months of courses with them. And after that, and it's amazing, like I met so many incredible makeup artists there. Like Daniel Salstrom was, he's an insane editorial artist, and they're like totally amazing and incredible. And I mean, that was my first makeup teacher, and like insight into the world of makeup. And then a man called David Horn is who writes the courses there. And I got some advice from him and I was like, what should I? And he gave me a lot of mentoring. He was like, go and study at film and television. And he was like, I wrote the courses for this university in London at London College of Fashion. Go and study their film and television course. That's like, you know, everything you need to know about fashion now. We've given you everything and advertising, but like, if you want a long career, go take that course. And I was like, great. And so I did it, and I went and studied hair and makeup for film and television at London College of Fashion, and I did it to the 3-year bachelor degree, and it was like the best experience ever. So I was really immersed full time for 4 years, really, of just, or 3.5 or whatever, just studying makeup and absorbing everything and meeting so many artists. And it's like, some people tell me like, it's not what you know, it's who you know. No, it's what you know. You need to know. Who you know helps, but like, you got to study also. Like, there's a lot to learn.
Because once you get there, you got to be able to perform.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes, you know, like, what we know is like, a lot of what I learned could have totally been experiential, you know, like being on set, getting work experience, meeting other artists and photographers and so on and so forth. But being in a school environment was also, it was a different time. It was like, you know, Instagram wasn't really like a huge hit at this point, and like building a network, and there weren't these things that, like, I also took the mastered program, if you've heard of it, like the makeup mastered program. Alex Fox did it, and I took that program a lot later, and that was like a really great like push as a makeup artist. And just, I think as an artist, it's really important to have like a connection group. Do you know what I mean? I think in any freelance or solo career, like even as like a founder, a skincare founder, like I have other friends who have small brands and small businesses, and we're constantly like helping each other, because it's like, there are so many things that you're gonna fall flat on your face trying to figure out. But like, why have both of us suffer? Like, they're going to suffer on something else and I'm going to suffer on something. So why not exchange that knowledge and feel like you have someone to just talk to? Because there's like a lot of things.
All the time. It never stops.
All the time.
It never stopped. I'm just so fascinated that you were even able to take hair and makeup courses in college. I don't think, to my knowledge, never.
It's not a thing in America.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. We have to go to like specialized like schools, like cosmetology.
This is University of the Arts in London, and they have, which is like a university group. So there's like Central St. Martin's, there's London College of Fashion, there's Chelsea College of Art, and these are like the government universities. And so it's pretty cheap as well. It's like, it's definitely more expensive than it used to be, like entirely free, but it's like, it's not like an American university degree, and everything's pretty cheap, and they give you really good student things. And then, you know, university schedules are not crazy. Like, I had a job evenings and weekends, so I was just, and it was like, that was bigger than my university classes. They're pretty relaxed. It's like Tuesday afternoon, come in if you feel like it, you know.
I love that. I want to have some makeup chat real quick before we jump into your skincare line, because I'm a new fan of Omayma. Okay, she's my new, like, I'm a fangirl now.
I love it.
What is your secret to like that no makeup look? Hey, I know you're enjoying the episode, but I have something to tell you real quick. Did you know that I created a Patreon? Look, podcasting is fun. I absolutely love it, but it is not cheap. And there have been so many people who have reached out to me that want to support the show somehow and keep the good vibes flowing. So I thought, why not create a Patreon? For as little as $3 a month, you can support the Friends of Beauty podcast and join a community of other loyal supporters of the show, just like you, okay? There are other tier levels available that unlock tons of exclusive Patreon-only content, like behind-the-scenes clips, bonus interview content, monthly calls with me, discounts, and so much more. But no matter what tier level you decide to choose,
I appreciate you so much. And I'm going to give you a shout out on the podcast when you join. So if you'd like to be a part of the exclusive Patreon community for the Friends of Beauty podcast, I'll leave the link right here and down below in the show notes for you to join. And as always, I appreciate your support so much. Now, let's go ahead and jump back into the episode.
Like that no makeup look.
Okay, so the secret to the no makeup look is no makeup. So that's the secret. You have to think, how little makeup can I be doing? And how much skincare can I be doing? And that's really like, I've always been obsessed with skincare. Like I love skincare. I love face oils, as you know. And I really, truly love as using as little makeup as possible, and like kind of like adjusting things, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of the secret. I think like try using like a primer instead of a foundation and see what happens, because a lot of that texture might like just even out from just like a prepping product rather than like a foundation. Like some of the things you just don't need. Like the things, I watch a lot of TikToks now, and a lot of the things I see on TikTok, I just think like you're complicating it. Like there are so many steps you don't need in there, like so many steps that are not really doing anything to the point that like in real life anyone is ever going to notice. Like, do you know what I mean? Like the blush under the concealer, it doesn't make that much of a difference. It doesn't. And it's cool because it's a fun way to play with the products. But I'm like, did someone from Rare Beauty like do this? Come up with this and like tell their TikTok friends to do it? Like, I don't understand.
That is so funny.
It's so funny. There's so many of those hacks. And yeah, like
a lot of consumers are confused and like they're like, I don't know how to do my makeup. That's because you're watching all these TikToks and they're doing all the unnecessary things where you can just keep it simple.
But it's funny because I watch them and I'm like, I need that product now.
It's working.
It's working. And I'm like, why don't I have that? I should have that. This TikTok says it's every celebrity makeup artist's best friend. I should have that. I'm a celebrity makeup artist. And I'm like, wait a sec. I have like 12 things in my kit that do exactly the same thing. I'm doing just fine. I make a lot of money doing makeup. I'm okay. Right. You know?
Are you of the belief that it's more so about the skill than the actual product that you're using to achieve a certain look?
That's a good question. You know, I think it's probably 60-40. I would say it's 60% skill, 40% product. Like if you have like a really bad product or the wrong product, like, you know, it's just not going to do the right thing. But a lot of the time you can really maneuver a product into doing what you want. Like sometimes I've run out of brow gel on set and then I use a primer. Okay. It works. I use a primer on a spoolie and it's like magic. And it just kind of, it's like, or like I'll use like edges and it's great. Or I use like, I don't know, whatever. But like, you know, sometimes you can like choose from a different bag and it still does exactly the same thing. Or if like, you know, in the days of like I don't carry powder highlight in my kit at all. And so like sometimes someone will be like, I need powder highlight or else. And then I'm like, no problem. I just use an eyeshadow. Works just fine. It's exactly the same thing.
I love that. I could say I used to teach because I haven't taught in a while. I used to teach at a cosmetology school here, the makeup program, and like my own classes and stuff too. But I always used to stress to them the importance of just learning how to use your products in multiple ways, because that's one way that you can cut down on all the stuff that you're carrying in your kit. And it's smarter. Like you don't have to spend that much money buying every single product. I'm like, this pressed powder is a big eyeshadow to me. Like, powder, so I'm going to use it however powder can be used. I love that.
Totally.
I love that. I would love to know, what was your inspiration ultimately for creating your skincare line?
Yeah, well, it's very special to me. I have been, you know, obsessed with face oils since I was a little girl, going to Egypt and Morocco, especially in Morocco, like on our family's farm. I've been like super exposed to different oils that are, you know, used in ample in North Africa. And I would come home with little bottles of like Argan and rose neroli and like little incense things. And I would come back with prickly pear oil and like put it all over my body. And it was incredible. And so, and like even, you know, the farm was predominantly olives, and we're making olive oil and, you know, selling it to local hotels, and it was like very small, but like local hotels, and it being like a real like organic farming kind of experience too. You can learn how to cook. We made vegetables. It's really cool. And and so then 7 years ago, I moved to LA and my skin freaked out, like going through. Well, it like went crusty, and no one wants the word crusty associated with their face. No way. And it was really face oils, and I drew from that, and it was really face oils that saved me. And I started making my own little blends and my own little concoctions, and you know, and I would use them on set too. And I would make like different, you know, like sometimes I would, you know, as a makeup artist, I get sent a lot of stuff too. So I would just like make use of different things. And, you know, there was this brand, they sent me this and I loved it, but it was a bit too heavy. So I blended in a bit of this and I became, you know, just obsessed. And then it was always something that I had, even when I was living in London, I had taken some classes on like brand development and just to like get a beginning, and I got some classes on it, and my takeaway of it at that point was like, great, I'm not ready, but like got it. That's like some things that I need to know about, and one day I will be ready. Right. And then after, you know, I've been doing makeup here in LA. I do very well. I'm with an amazing agency. I work with incredible brands and skincare brands and makeup brands, and I do lots of campaigns for them. And it's really cool. And I feel like I'm, you know, I have an incredible network of people who I get to work with on a regular basis. That's really, really fun and cool. And then I was like kind of formulating, and I was like, I really want to do this. And I've been taking a course called Formula Botanica. I'm all about courses. Like every time and then I did this course and then I did that course. And I was taking this course called Formula Botanica that teaches you how to formulate skincare. And then just before COVID, my dad passed away quite abruptly. And he was Egyptian, and it was really like, you know, that was a real mourning process. But my dad was truly like my number one, like, Omayma, you can do it. Like, he wasn't like a traditional, I don't know, like my dad was a total Egyptian hippie, I guess you would say. Like he was like the coolest musician, and like that was really my connection with being Egyptian. And like how I felt the most Egyptian was that like through being, you know, I grew up in the studio where he was recording music, and like he went on tour a lot. And so like, you know, that was really part of it. And that was how I resonated with being Arab and like my Arab and North African part of who I am. Right. And so then I really like was like, I need to find a way to have my own kind of voice as an Arab woman, and like and my own connection. And it all just kind of like, I was already making my concoctions as something that I wanted to do. And I was like, okay, this makes sense. This is Omayma skin, and the blend of oils, a lot of North African oils in there. We've got argan, rose, neroli, jasmine, prickly pear, Moroccan tansy, and so many amazing ingredients that are like, it came from there. That's where I learned about it. And so to me, it's that. And I called it the Bedouins Elixir because the Bedouins are like the nomads across North Africa and like the Middle East, basically. So it's really like a nod to my heritage, and it's like how I wanted to reconnect with that, and how I wanted to also culminate who I am as a makeup artist and a skincare enthusiast and a beauty obsessor. And as like a North African girl, you know, that like I want to bring that more to the world. And I feel like there's never enough representation, and you know, well, we have to show up and represent ourselves, you know, like that's like, why not? So I just kept hearing my dad in my head being like, oh my ma, yalla, let's go habibti. And so I was like, okay, like I have to do it. And I started so small. But I guess that's like another question of like how I got going.
Yeah, I love that, because I was gonna ask you, as far as production goes. Woo! You first started, like, did you have to like source your products from, you know, Morocco and those places and get them shipped in, or are they like packaging it over there? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, so even though I took the course in how to formulate, I decided to work also with a lab and a formulator, because I just think that, like, you know, the day that I graduated university as a makeup artist isn't the same makeup artist as me 10 years down the line with, you know, 10 years of experience as a makeup artist. It's just not the same level of knowledge and experience. And so I worked with a lab, and I worked with a formulator with her 30 years of experience as a formulator. And, you know, you take that 30 years and you throw in my 10 to 15 years, and like, now we're dealing with a real superhero combo, you know, of like, and so I worked with the lab, and we worked really closely together on getting it right. It took us 15 iterations before we got the exact way that I wanted it. And so the process was really cool, like, because I was working as a makeup artist, obviously. So every single day I would take it and use my like samples of, or like my, you know, factory samples on models, and I would be like, okay, close your eyes, what do you think of this, like, and not tell them anything. And I would get amazing feedback, like the best feedback that you could ever ask for. And it was really, really, really cool, because I got to try it on like 100 people, you know, like before it was even launched. And so then I had that like, okay, certainty that I can do it, you know. And so I started with a tiny batch of 500 units, which is incredibly small. And now they're a much bigger lab, because they were a tiny, tiny lab. And, you know, which is pretty like rare for a lab to do 500 units of a custom formulation, like completely custom, but they did it. And then now they're like, huh? Yeah. Oh yeah. Now I'm on like, I've done a few thousand since then, but like, then they're like, we don't do 500s anymore. And I'm like, okay, good. I'm like, that's valid. And you know, on sourcing packaging, like I wanted to source my packaging from Italy, and like that was really cool, and like a really cool factory there. And you know, obviously you've got on the ingredients, that's like a whole, sourcing the ingredients is a whole process, and different batches, you know, like my blend is 98% organic. So it's like, there's only one ingredient, one or two, I think, ingredients that are not organic in there. And so when you have inorganic ingredients, one of the, you know, there's a million benefits to that. And then one of the drawbacks is that, like, you know, seasonally, year to year, because you're not like able to super control with pesticides what happens on the ground, like there can be like differences in color and differences in like the way that it smells ever so slightly, batch to batch and year to year. And that's just part of it. And so like I've had to really be like, oh, but like it still smells absolutely amazing and absolutely whatever. But like for me, I'm like, I smell the blue tansy more, which actually, like, people are like, I'm obsessed with it, it smells of blue tansy. And I'm like, oh, okay, good. You just, you know, you have all these things. But you know, as a small business, every step of the way, I learned something. And it really is like, I'm a company of one. So it's not like I literally, my laptop right now speaking to you is exactly where I fill my orders, on my dinner table. Yeah.
I love that. And you know what I love about your website too, that I think is different from other skincare sites I've seen, is that you have the ingredients glossary on there. And I absolutely love that, because a lot of people, of course, we people don't look at the ingredients a lot of times, and we definitely don't know. If we do look at the ingredients, we don't know what the benefit is of those ingredients. So I love that you have that on your website. It's super cool. And what is one ingredient or a few ingredients, maybe 3 ingredients that you have in your product that you've always known the benefit of it from, you know, using it as a child, but now you get to like play around with it in your own products?
Absolutely. Well, for me, that would have to be prickly pear oil or cactus oil, where like that was really like, every time as a little girl, I was saying before, like I would go to Morocco and come back, and Egypt, and I would go to both of them and come back with like so many like beauty things, and always bottles of argan oil and prickly pear oil. And the two of them, like even as a kid, like I didn't really get why, but I was like, I look amazing. And I would put it on like on my skin, on my body, on my face. And like I would, you know, even I got really obsessed with argan oil. Like, and this was like, I don't know, in the like early thousands. This wasn't like
Before
when, yeah, this was before the craze, okay? And I put it in my hair and I put it everywhere. And, you know, like all of this, I would bring back the food version that you can eat, and it's so yummy. And like all of it. And even honestly, like I would come back with I used to love it. I would spend hours in the souks in Morocco, which is like the markets, the covered markets. And I just obsess over it. I would go into, they have these like old Moroccan pharmacies and makeup shops that are like, but it's like clay makeup and pigments and like, you know, like coals and different clays for making face masks and different oils and ointments and powders. And they have these little pots that are like, you have to, you kind of spit in it, and like it's like lipstick, you know, and but it's like a paste, and then you like put it on your lips and you have like pink, and it goes pink, or you can use it on blush, and it's so it's like so much fun. Oh my god, there's like masses of them. And I love it. And I've just been obsessed with it. I love hammams as well, which is like the Moroccan and North African, like Turkish bath, you know, where it's like a steam bath. And yeah, and it's Middle Eastern. It's a total amazing Middle Eastern steam bath that I'm just obsessed with, where you go and you have like a full clay on your body and a full scrub down, and you in the steamy, and you're like, it's just, your skin comes out so yummy.
I love that. Sounds amazing. I need a flight like right now. I flew through Morocco. Like I went to Senegal last year.
Oh my god, amazing.
I went to Senegal, and we had to stop over in Morocco for like 8 hours. Literally, we were there like the whole day. So we did get a chance to go out and just like drive around for a little bit just to see what it looked like and everything. But I need to go back. I need to go back for sure. Yeah.
I'm in love with Morocco.
Yeah, on your website, you had something else that stood out to me. You said, enhance your skincare from routine to ritual. And I absolutely love that, because like confession time, I do not have like a skincare routine per se. Like I have a skincare routine, but I don't have like dedicated products. So I haven't found something that I absolutely love that is like, okay, if this runs out, I have to go get this again. It's like, oh, that ran out. Let me see what other cleanser I'm about to get next. Like, what are some ways that you have changed your skincare into like a ritual? Like, what is your skincare ritual when you're like,
oh, well, I just love that moment. And for me, I really go all out in the morning. At night, if I'm honest, it's more of a chore, because who likes to take their makeup off at night? No one ever. No one. But I do it because I, you know, don't want to age. And so like in the morning though is when I have my like amazing morning ritual that like ideal morning, and it doesn't happen every day, but the days that it happens, I'll like, I get on so I'm looking at it there. I start my day. I drink so much water first thing. I have a little bit of coffee with almond milk. I get on my Peloton. I do a 20-minute Peloton like a maniac. And then I jump off. I take a shower. I'm trying not to wash my hair every day, but it's kind of impossible when you're sweating. Let's be real. And then I start my skincare, and I just feel like it's the best moment for me. Like it's such a, like, my phone is not in the room, nothing's there. Like maybe I think I have the little radio on, but it's just like me time. This is my time for me. And I feel like it's so great. And so my skin routine. So what do? I cleanse with, without makeup. So like when I'm taking off makeup, I double cleanse. I use, a cleansing balm or gel first. Right now I'm using Pharmacy's Green Clean, I think, and I love it. Pharmacy with an F.
Yeah,
it's really good, and it's not expensive, and it's really, honestly, it like leaves my skin feeling like not stripped. But I don't like when a face balm leaves you feeling like you still have oil all over your face. Like even when you wash it, like it should come off. Then I cleanse I use Curology at night. So, and I love their stuff. Like at the beginning of COVID, like I got crazy mask breakouts that turned into like a horrible bout of acne, and it completely handled it. And it were like, the way I heard about it was models. I asked models, like, what the hell do I do? Because like, you guys know. And they told me that like enough people were like Curology that I was like, okay, fine. And it's not expensive, and I still use it, and Tretinoin is amazing. And so then I use the Curology cleanser to double cleanse. Then what's next? I alternate. I have 2 serums that I'm using right now. Well, 3. One is a secret sauce from Omayma Skin that's not out yet. So I know that one is like that. I'm waiting for my next sample from the lab right now. So that one will be back. Mark my words. Okay. And then, but right now I'm using, it's like a really cool hydrating serum that I use from Drunk Elephant called the B Hydra something. And it's like a vitamin B soothing serum. And then other one that I use is like a ferulic acid serum from Versed Skincare, Versed. It's like a Target brand. It's not expensive. I love it. Then I go in with a moisturizer from, what am I using right? Oh, it's Biossance, the Biossance Squalene moisturizer. I love it. And then I use my oil, which I use like every single day. Like, so people ask me, do you actually use it? And I'm like every day. Like
why wouldn't you?
Look, I know. I'm like, I can't believe that's a question of like, of course I do. I use it like all day, every day. Like I'll double up and I'll like add more in, and then, anyway. So then I go in with my oil, and I really love to do face massage at that point. And that's really like, I also have a gua sha on my site, which I love. And it's like stainless steel. So it's really soothing and cooling, and it's really great. And I love it because it's got different shapes and squiggles on it. And so you can like get into your knots and muscles, and like really, I get like headaches and from like tension headaches, and so I can like work it over a little bit. Like sometimes I find there's like a little muscle here that like gets too tense, and it completely alleviates that for me personally. Yeah. And then I use SPF, which is I use from Image Skincare. They have one that's their like matte moisturizing daily SPF. And that's it. That's my skincare. But it's like me time, Yeah,
look, I ain't doing a daggone thing with my skincare routine after all the stuff you do.
I know. I think Curology is also really good. Like at night I use Curology, and it's like I should be like the number of models that I've gotten onto Curology when they complain about I'm like, look, I'm not even selling you my products. Like this is what you need.
Yeah,
like it is code. If you haven't started on tretinoin, like no day is too soon. Like no young, it doesn't matter. It's so good.
Yeah, you need an affiliate code or something for them.
I know, I do. It's so good.
Yeah. Have you ever played the drinking game Never Have I Ever?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. So I have a Never Have I Ever on the podcast, on the Friends of Beauty podcast, but it's a little bit different. We're not going to be drinking, of course, but I have a statement, like a Never Have I Ever statement for you. But if you've done it before, I want you to share the story. But if you haven't done it before, give your advice to someone who may have to do this. Okay. So never have I ever shade matched someone wrong and had to start all the way over from the beginning.
Oh my gosh.
Have you ever done that?
I mean, I must have. I'm trying to remember, but it must have happened. You know, usually I think even up until now, sometimes I'll put a makeup on and I'm like, oh, that's not right. And you could, but like I kind of stop before it gets to that point where it's like they want to take it off and start again. Do you know what I mean? And so my advice to people on that is like, if you like, I always do like a one dot before I buff it in.
Yeah.
You know? And my advice is, okay, to prevent that, check the person's arm color, check the person's neck color. Like if they're wearing a hoodie, make sure they take that hoodie off. You got to see like, because a lot of people are much, you know, either like I'm more tanned on my face than I am on my body. And so like there's that. And then also like if you see like the person's chest, you can be like, and you can just speak to the person like, hey, what do you like to match your foundation to? Like, do you like to match it to your neck? Do you like to match it to your body? Do you, because the neck will be quite light, like, or do you want like a head to toe? And I think that will really help you. And then also if you're nervous about this, like you can ask the person, does this color feel right to you? They know, you know?
Yeah, I guess some people don't want to be seen like they don't know what they're doing. I've never, well, no. I didn't have a situation where I had to wipe it off because I shade matched the person wrong, but I was playing around with a new product. I was playing around. It was when Danessa Myricks first came out with her Vision Cream Cover foundations.
Oh yeah, that's
those
heavy.
things. Yeah, those things are super pigmented. And I was at a makeup class and they gifted it to us at the class. So cool. I'm trying it out on the model. And I remember the teacher coming around. Shout out to Tayana. I remember her coming around, was like, just go ahead, wipe it off. I was like, because I was playing with it. I was using it how I would have used some of my other cream foundations. And that thing, you just need a little bit and you just spread it out and manipulate it.
Yeah. You know what I have done is I've had it where, you know, there's like a formula something like, or like the person's got some of their own, like I think someone was like, they already put their expensive skincare on before coming. And so they wanted to just like keep their skincare. Do you know what I mean? And like whatever. And like usually before I start anyone's makeup, I'll like go in with like a Bioderma or a cleansing water and like cleanse it off. If someone comes to my makeup chair with makeup, I send them to the bathroom with face wash. Yeah. Like if they're a model,
start from scratch.
But like, so then I was like, okay, fine, sure. And then I put my makeup on over that and it started to peel. And so then I was like, nah, girl, we're starting over. It's going to just all day. It's just going to be a problem. Yeah. So let's just start again. So that's definitely happened.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that. So at this point, what is a typical day in the life of a makeup artist and running a skincare brand at the same time? Like what is some, like a typical, on a good day, I guess, when it's like,
All right. So I guess we can choose last week was a typical day. So I was doing a commercial for, or not commercial, it was a new skincare brand is coming out. And It's a really cool brand for like menopausal skin called Striped Beauty, which I think is really cool. And I was doing the campaign for them. And so I went to work. It was at a studio in, I think it was in Hollywood, or maybe it was like near Hollywood. And so the night before, I filled a bunch of orders that came in earlier, but like I filled them at night. So like I had to drop them at the mail office in the morning on the way to work. So I did that. And then I got the models ready at the studio that morning. Then I was catching up with the photographer, and her name's Angela. She's really cool. I love her. And then I was getting the models ready, and we were chatting, and like and it's cool as well because these models were like grown-up models. They're not like these teeny models.
Mature women.
Yeah, they're like full-grown women, and they have like kids in high school, and like it's so cool because they're like for this. It's like a menopausal and premenopausal, like for people that are going through this change. And it's the skincare brand, and it's really awesome. And so I was speaking to the models who like, I always love talking to them about their favorite skincare and their favorite products. And then we're talking about my brand. And then, they're like, oh my God, I know this woman who has a bunch of shops in LA. Like, we've got to get you in it. And blah, blah, blah. It's really good. Like, where can I buy it? Like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, so that just like happens every day, which is really cool. And then we did the photo shoot. We had lunch, we finished. And then I go back. Now it's like 5 o'clock. I get back, I unpack, I like check my emails. There's a bunch of emails. My agent has like put me up for a bunch of jobs. So now I'm like trying to adjust my schedule. And I think I got like, I had a couple, I work with a lot of publications talking about like skincare and makeup and products and new things that have come out and so on. And so I had a few articles that had, that I had like the beauty editors like send me the questions. So I like, then I had to like answer the questions. So that took me like an hour, and then I like make a snack and I ring my boyfriend and I go to bed.
Finally, you ate. Look.
I ate. Well, I definitely eat. Look, first things first, I'm a Middle Eastern girl. I will eat. Always eat. Whatever there's snacks, I will eat them. And like, I think also like, I'm so lucky that I work in like the advertising world where people like, they feed me breakfast, lunch, and dinner if I want. Like, it's there. It's always there. Like, how lucky am I?
I love that. Yeah. That's the life I love.
Yeah.
Food on set. Good food.
Good food. Yeah. I get really grumpy when there's bad food on set. Like,
So, Omayma, oh my gosh. So at the end of the day, like, what do you want your legacy to be? Like, what do you want to contribute and leave to the world?
Oh my goodness. Well, my brand, I really believe in like ethical skincare and conscious skincare and conscious beauty. And I really want my legacy to be my brand really in skincare and beauty. And I want to, have the people like me, and like I wanted to find my way to resonate with my heritage and my culture and being Egyptian and my connection with Morocco. And like I'm a mixed girl, like that's also part of my brand, and like finding my way to connect with being with my Arab side. And like I think there are other people in that same kind of space who just want to find their voice and feel understood and heard. And I just also think that there are so many cool things about North African skincare and beauty, and like those women they know there is a whole like Cleopatra is famous for her love of milk baths and honey baths and skincare and beauty and makeup products, and that's like one of the earliest recordings of makeup and beauty, and like that's part of my DNA. So I love it. And so I just love sharing it and celebrating it with other people.
Yes, I love it. What's next for you in the brand? Now you mentioned the serum. Are you working on getting into the stores? Like what's going on? What's next?
Yes, I am. So I'm in development on a serum that I'm not going to tell you about because it's still changing and it's really cool and really, really exciting. And it's got some really, really, really cool stuff in it. And I think that everyone's going to love it. And then I'm also, the regulations for Europe and the rest of the world are different to America. And so our certificate, it's more just like a time stamp thing, but my certificate for Europe and the UK has come through. So I'm like focusing on like getting it into shops there, whilst also like, I'm looking for shops here and building those relationships. And I'm a big believer in like doing it slow, but doing it right. Because, I still have like, I work everything myself. I fund it with my makeup paychecks. Like it's not, there's no secret fund there's like whatsoever. I literally fill my orders myself. And so I have to do it in a way that's like methodical and that makes sense so that it's like, I'm able to sustain it. Cause I don't really want to like, getting that balance of like how many units to order versus how many you'll be able to fulfill. What I really don't want is to order 10,000 units of something and then have it sit on a shelf and then go bad and then you can't sell it, So for me, it's a total learning experience that I'm, every day navigating. And so, in more shops, I'm in some amazing shops right now. And I love them so much. They're such cool shops in LA, but I'm totally looking to like branch out into like other states and other things and places too,
Okay. We definitely have something here called the Brown Beauty Co-op that may be cool because it's all
cool.
Brown Beauty Co-op. It's all brands for people of color. So she has like hair, makeup, and skincare in there. So that might be an option.
I
has in there right
love
now.
that. I've just written it down.
Yes. This has been amazing. It's such a pleasure chatting with you. I have to ask you though. You're welcome. You're so welcome. I have to ask you the Friends and Beauty rapid fire questions.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. Yes. Okay. Yeah, right.
Yes. So whatever comes to your mind first, just spit it out.
Okay.
So first one, just give us your top 3 keys to your success so far.
Oh, okay. So number 1, don't give up. Number 2, Google it. Number 3, ask a friend.
How do you measure your success?
Happiness. I think so. For me, I measure my success by like, am I getting closer to my goals? That's what I would say. Like if I'm overcoming like obstacles towards my goals, then I feel like that. And so like sometimes I just have to set goals.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the best advice you've ever received?
I don't know. That's tough. That's a big question. Best advice, like
some good advice.
I guess some good advice was like, well, you're never gonna know, like if you don't give it a go. That sounds like something my mom would say. She would always say to me, she used to want me to learn how to like scuba dive, and I'm terrified of the ocean. And she'd be like, you just say no to things without trying them, Omayma. Like that's what she says to me. I'm like, yeah, but there's monsters.
This is not a rapid fire question, but I forgot to ask you, does your name mean something? Yeah, name.
Yes, Omayma. So Omayma is a very classically Egyptian name, and it's like as common as being called Sarah in Egypt. And it means God's little female helper who does everything and asks for nothing in return.
I love that.
I know, me too.
That is amazing. I love that. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
It's cool. And it's very common. It was my grandmother's name. It's my cousin's name. It's a common name.
I love it. What advice would you give to another makeup artist right now who is just kind of struggling in their business? They're not seeing the results that they want to, and they just kind of just want to throw in the towel and give up.
Okay, well, first of all, don't give up. That's not how you're going to make it. So then I would say focus on your why you do it, and focus on like your, like what it is about makeup that you like. Why are you doing, like you have to find that. And because at the end of the day, we are still working for other people. So you still have to find your own creative why and your own creative like drive. So even for me as a makeup artist, I do a lot of like advertising work, which, that pays me like a lot of money. And it's, Hollywood advertising rates, which are just like standardly high. And so, but a lot of that is very basic, like commercial kind of makeup. And so if I'm not also focusing on my own creative outlets as an artist, right, like if I'm not doing tests with new photographers where I can just go crazy as an artist and do whatever I want and try new things and try new products and really give it a go, like I get a bit like bitter myself and I get a bit like resentful. But actually it's just because I'm not being true to my why, and I'm not also focusing that energy and like finding my new creative outlets,
Absolutely. That makes sense.
So I would just say, like, find time to make sure you're still inspired by going and practicing your craft and honing on your craft. Also, go to museums, go discover culture, watch an old movie, read a cool, like, creative art book, study a photographer from the 80s, go do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, find something in a culture, find something out about your heritage. Go do it and see how you are an artist. How can you go and transport that into your work?
Right. I love that. Excellent advice. Okay. What is a resource that helps you in your business that you can share with the Friends in Beauty community?
A resource. So I took a course in Formula Botanica. That was one. Mm-hmm. There was another one called Creative Hive, and that taught me a lot too. So those two, and they have so many forums, so many platforms, so many groups, and that's like a resource that I use all the time.
Yeah. Okay. And the last one, I just want you to fill in the blank and just say, my name is blank. And the key to longevity and success is whatever you think it is.
Okay. So my name is Omayma, and the key to longevity and success is persistence.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Persistence. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Before you go, share your social media information and how people can connect with you, connect with Omayma Skin.
Yeah, so my Instagram for me is Omayma.Ramzy, and you're gonna list these, right? Because these are like hard to spell things.
I got you.
So my personal Omayma is Omayma.Ramzy, and then my brand is Omayma.Skin, and Omayma.Skin is on Instagram as well as TikTok, and which I'm learning about. I don't know much about it, but I'm trying. Like I'm
we could do it. When you're in your 30s, you're just trying TikTok.
I know, you're just trying. And so there's those, and you can find the brand on omaymaskin.com. So that's where it is. Anyone international, it's also at omaymaskin.co.uk. It's available in Strike Beauty in Beverly Hills, which is Strike with 3 I's. It's the Stryker sisters salon and store and beauty place. It's their really girls, right? And so it's there. It's also in a few other shops around LA. Like there's a clean beauty store called Strange Invisible that also have their own perfumes called Strange Invisible Perfumes. It's in there. It's in a place called Modern Merchant. There's in a few little estheticians places, but yeah. And then if there's a shop that you think Omayma Skin should be in, everyone can message me, email me, DM me. My messages are always open.
Yes. And I think we have a code for Friends in Beauty. I think it's FIB 20. But
exactly
20% off of Omayma Skin.
Yeah.
Grab y'all skincare essentials. Grab that elixir because I can't wait.
Right.
About to be looking like 20 years younger.
Yeah, snatched. All of us.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Omayma. It was really a pleasure chatting with you, getting to know you and your brand. I wish you much success in all of your future endeavors.
You too, my darling. Thank you very much for having me. It was a total pleasure.
Thanks for listening to the Friends in Beauty podcast. Don't forget, sharing is caring. Share this episode with at least one friend in beauty, and subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts so that other friends in beauty can find this show. Plus, we'd love to hear your feedback. Connect with us on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty, hashtag Friends in Beauty to join the conversation, and join our Friends in Beauty Facebook community to stay connected. Talk to you soon.